Americans from coast to coast waking up to more bad news, a new record high when it comes to the price of gas.
Wow, here we go. July 4th is on July 4th. Vivek Ramaswamy will launch his brand new campaign to call out asset management firms that use money in retirement plans to actively lobby against the political beliefs of hardworking Americans. Maybe it's your plan. Strive Asset Management Executive Chairman and author of the upcoming book, Nation of Victims, Vivek Ramaswamy joins us now. Vivek, what are we finding out about what's happening with our plans that we don't even know about?
Well, here's the thing, Brian. Americans know that they're paying $5 for gas at the pump on average nationally right now. What most of them don't know is that their investment accounts are being weaponized to actually create that result. Because what the world's largest asset managers are doing, starting with BlackRock, the biggest one, and you'll notice in that video there's a hand pushing a black rock up a hill, is that what happens is that they're using the money of everyday citizens to show up as the largest shareholders at companies like Exxon, at the U.S. energy companies across the natural gas sectors and the oil sectors, and to tell them to produce less. Why? To prepare for a green energy transition, but in ways that most people whose money they're investing would not want to actually see happen. So that's a big abuse of the everyday citizens of this country and their investment accounts. That's the first step in, I think, educating the American people on how we're actually empowered to drive this change, not just through the votes we cast every November, but through the votes we cast every day with where we invest our dollars.
So, you're not talking about necessarily big-time Wall Street investors. You're talking about people that have retirement accounts, pension accounts, 401ks. You don't really think about where this is going, but you hear about BlackRock, you hear about Vanguard, and that's what they're actually doing. What can you do to offer an alternative?
That's right. This is not somebody else's money. This is your money. It's nurses, doctors, small business owners, big business owners. They're aggregating the money of everyday citizens to speak on their behalf in most ways that most of those everyday citizens would actually disapprove of. So what I think is the market actually needs competition. It needs added choice. That's a big part of why I founded Strive, Brian. But a big part of the mission, the first step of that mission, is to educate those everyday citizens about what's exactly happening with their money. So that's the educational campaign that starts on July 4th that goes for the next 5 weeks thereafter. And I think once people know what's happening, then come the solutions thereafter.
All right, I understand it. So, Vivek, if I'm sitting there and I'm a member of a union, a workers' union, and they're investing in this, am I helpless?
No, I don't think you're helpless. I think beginning to speak up to those pension fund board members, being able to speak up to the union managers who are managing the money. Many of them aren't even knowledgeable today because BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard, they've been exceptional at marketing to pension funds. Well, guess what? Those pension funds aren't supposed to serve BlackRock. They're supposed to serve their plan participants. So one of the things I hope to do across the country is to activate the people who have money in state pension funds, in union funds, to be able to ask the questions to say that actually, where is my money being invested? Who is speaking on my behalf? And if they're delivering messages to American energy companies that also cause me to pay more for gas and cause those companies to be less successful and the U.S. to lose energy independence, I want to have something to say about it.
30 seconds left. I could make more money if my plan invested in Exxon and these oil and gas companies because of the marketplace. If this is this is a political agenda that's anti-capitalistic. Would you also agree to that?
It's fundamentally anti-capitalistic. But the funny thing, Brian, is they've taken over the veneer of capitalism to destroy capitalism from within. And I say American capitalism declares independence this year, just like America declared independence in 1776.
How do we find out more about Strive?
StriveFunds.com, and you'll be hearing more about it over the course of the year. But StriveFunds.com, learn more there, and it's a big part of why I've started on this journey myself to deliver, hopefully, solutions to the problem.
All right, Vivek, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Have a great 4th of July weekend.
Thank you. You too, Brian.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.